Probably my favorite story as it relates to deer hunting is my first deer ever. And the reason it's my favorite is it is literally the first memory I have of being alive. I mean, I was born in 1994. In 1998, I was 4 years old, and that is when I killed my first deer. I can't tell you anything else about 1998 other than that is when I killed my first deer. And so I'd grown up, my dad had hunted my whole life, and it was just really important in our house. And so, you know, when it finally was time that I could hold a gun and was safe and understood, you know, kind of the ropes, then, you know, it was time for me to go hunting. So he had this 410, he sawed the stock off of it so that I could, you know, really get a hold of it good. And I was gonna shoot a slug. So a 410 with a slug in it with a sawed off stock is what my setup was. And we did this on my grandparents' land. We're sitting on the ground, and I can still to this day visualize sitting there on the edge of this field, seeing the deer walking through the woods, walking out in the field. And moment of truth, there is a big doe standing 35 yards in front of us, and she has pinned us down. We are not blending in at all. And so she's standing there, she's blowing, she's stomping, you know, just the classic staring, stomping the foot, blowing, and I'm 4 years old. This is the craziest moment of my entire life. Like, I can't even imagine that it ever gets better than this. And so I get on her, I'm shaky, and I pull the trigger, I shoot her right square in her chest. She runs off. Me and my dad, we let her run off. We start to go look for her, and we can't find her. And it's my first deer, and man, I'm crushed. I remember crying and just being so upset that, like, man, I'm not even gonna get to see my first deer, have that moment. And I just remember, like 2 weeks later maybe, my dad, he takes me back over there and he's like, look, I found your deer. And he had walked all over that place and literally found the doe that I had shot. And it was so cool to see, like, how important it was to him for me to see my first kill. And, you know, even now to this day, you know, we still talk about it. And even growing up, it was like, you know, it was so important to be out in the woods and be a part of that. And, you know, I think about my life now and where I'm at and what I'm doing and thinking, like, you know, I owe all of that to my dad's dedication to getting me out in the woods at a young age and taking the time to show me stuff and train me and, you know, teach me how to hunt. And, you know, now it's to the point where now he asks me my opinion on things and where should we go and where should we put the stand. And it all traces back to that very first day sitting on the ground in a fence row, 410 with a slug. And that's just where it all started, and that's why we're here today. So, you know, it's just a really cool memory to think back on.